welcome everybody. Welcome to the SHU Program, home of the 23-hour lockdown itself. We've got a great show for you guys today. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. We're going to kick this pre-Thanksgiving show off for you guys. And I'm going to let EJ take it over from there.
What's good, everyone? Short show today. Not a pretty slow news week, but we got a couple of topics we're going to get into. Everybody ready for Thanksgiving, man? How y'all doing today?
Man.
Maintaining. We're definitely ready for Thanksgiving amidst all this COVID madness out here in the street.
Yeah, this will be my first Thanksgiving in LA with my woman. So it's our first Thanksgiving by ourselves without any immediate family. So it's going to be an interesting experience tomorrow or whatever.
Are you cooking? That's the question.
What's that?
Are you cooking?
We're cooking. Yes, we are cooking. Actually, Dorian, she started cooking tonight. So she's actually getting ready. She got some new baked macaroni recipes she's trying out. And I'll be prepping some chicken tomorrow. We're not doing turkey. She's not really a fan of turkey, so we're doing, my world's famous baked chicken. So we're gonna do that.
Hey man, Brian that mug, and Brian in his spatchcock, bro.
He has no idea what you're talking about.
Hey, you guys are the whole look. You're the whole other level with the cooking than I am, Kev. So.
He's cooking chicken pieces.
Hey, soak it in some salt water for about an hour or two, and then split it in half. Cut the backbone on both sides and split it in half. It'll cook more evenly, and your chicken breast won't get dry because it take the dark meat longer to cook.
Well, we not cooking the whole chicken, so we're not doing that. I got some chicken breasts and some chicken legs. So yeah, we ain't going all that. I ain't ready for that yet. So we keep it simple.
We're gonna start off with a different topic. I know we usually start off right with the games and everything in the news on the games during the week, but I'm interested to get Marvin and Cam's perspective on this Verzuz battle, this Jeezy and Guuci battle. So I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and hold the floor on that.
Oh man, what we've been longly waiting for. I would say overall, which this is like what I said last week on Twitter and what I said here on last episode when we did bring up this, is that this is a huge thing. What's funny facts about this, as much as people may play with the South and trap rap and just these two people in general, this is the highest viewed versus battle of all time.
Yeah.
And 5 million
well deserved
people viewing this, on the internet. So that's a big thing. I'm proud of how it went. Did I think it was going to be that tense? Not necessarily. I was kind of scared, not gonna lie. Thought somebody definitely was gonna die. But I think it was a great moment for the culture. It was really good seeing honestly being surprised to see that man and Jeezy perform so icy after 20 years of not performing the song at all. So that was pretty impressive. It was good seeing kind of like all these records come back that I know and love. There's a lot of records that weren't played that I was surprised that Guuci Mane did not go into and play, and the same thing for Jeezy. I knew Jeezy was just gonna come out the gate 2005 in us to death with just basically everything off of Thug Motivation 101. I didn't expect Guuci Mane to play The Truth and to then proceed to say we smoking the Pookie Loke pack tonight, which was the guy that he killed, amidst an attempt on his life being taken. So it was a lot to unpack. I think it was definitely a moment for anybody regionally, especially if you're from the South, to observe and be able to experience, man. So overall, it was a great time. Guuci Mane won. I still am standing on that, but
that's where you went.
That's just my 2 cents on the matter.
I feel you, bro. Nah, it was dope, man. It was dope. It was bigger than the Verzuz battle though. Like, you know what I'm saying? This wasn't your Timbaland versus Swiss, you know what I'm saying, versus battle. Like this was it was real beef there, man. Like, so it was more than a versus battle, man. It was this one. The culture definitely won, and for them to perform so icy, bro, like that has never been performed, like ever
at all.
And you know what I'm saying, like they did that song, bro. They did the song 15 years ago, and it was supposed to be like a headline on the tour, bro. Like they never that. When they played that kind of made the whole battle. Like everything else, and I don't even think Gucci played some of his top songs that he left out. Easy. But it wasn't. I didn't read it as a normal battle, bro, because I just don't think it was ever going to be that. I don't think musically they should battle musically. I don't even think they should do that. But I mean, of course, I think Jeezy had the better night. You know what I'm saying? So it was dope, though. I won't even call it a loss, man. It was dope just for them to settle that beef, bro.
I honestly don't even think they actually settled. I feel like it's more like I tolerate you versus
man,
like,
look,
hey, if you try to take your head off, because
you know how they are, though, bro. Like they go, like literally, like this one is real. Like lives were lost. This is a real beef. This ain't no internet or no 2020 beef. So
yeah,
for them to do that, bro, like, hey man, that's huge, bro. That's huge, man.
I don't even think it's a them thing though, because I mean, if you really look at it, in the end, like Gucci's the person who has all the rights to be mad. Like, hey, I'm minding my business.
They tried to. Go ahead.
We got into it over a song because you wanted So Icy to be on Thug Motivation 101, and I didn't let you have that record because that was the biggest record that I had, and I didn't have anything, right? And then you proceed to go on a mixtape and on radio and put $10,000 on my head for no reason. And then when somebody tried to, make an attempt on that, I defended myself. So, I think if anything, which is kind of what I was debating with many people on Twitter about, is that like, hey, it's commendable more so to Gucci versus Jeezy being up there.
Yeah, most def. I don't dispute that.
Could I cut in real quick for somebody that don't really follow, Guuci Mane, and I know a little bit of Jeezy, but not like y'all do. So what is the whole beef between them really? Like you said, you mentioned it's so icy and stuff like that. What's the relevance of that?
Go ahead, Marv.
So Icy is like the first single Gucci Mane ever made that was like a big deal, right? It featured Jeezy at the time. At the time, Jeezy was bigger than Gucci Mane because Jeezy was a member of the whole Boys in the Hood thing with Diddy and Jody Breeze and all those guys, right? So he was already kind of like buzzing at the time. Gucci Mane was a nobody. So for Jeezy to do the song,
he had started his own shit too. I mean, his own. Right.
He did the whole CTE corporate entertainment type thing and started that movement, right? So the thing is, at the time, you take this guy from Zone 6 who is known, to kind of be just a straight hoodlum, like a robber, like just Gucci Mane's like the boogeyman of hip hop. That's what they call this guy, right? Mm-hmm. So you get him and Jeezy on the same track, and they paid, for the record and everything. But what ends up happening, this is a precursor to TM Thug Motivation 101 dropping. So what ends up happening is that Gucci, was about to try to put together his first album. Jeezy wanted that record because it was a hot record. It's already buzzing. So he's just kind of like, okay, well, I want that for Thug Motivation 101. I'm featured on it. Y'all paid me out for it. So why not let me have it? And Gucci's kind of just like, no, like this is my pride and joy. So why can't I have it? And, they got into it from that. Jeezy ended up making a record called Stay Strapped.
Yeah, he shouldn't have did that.
You said what?
I said he shouldn't have did that.
You said what? He shouldn't have did that. So in this record or whatever, what happened is that basically like just a lot of just reckless talking about Gucci Mane. And it was alluded to in the record that, hey, I got $10,000 for anybody who can bring me this man's chain. So
but bro,
what
he
ends up
said
happening,
that at the end of the song. He didn't even have to say that. Like, bro, that was so unnecessary, bro.
It was so unnecessary, man. Like I remember that song like the ended like literally like yesterday. So what ends up happening is that Guuci Mane, I believe, was like in a strip club or something like that, and he ended up leaving. And this guy named Pookie Loke, who a lot of these dudes back in the day that ran with BMF and were around Jeezy, they were LA guys, they were Crips, and that's kind of how like they amass such a huge following, because you kind of have these dudes who are like the street gang dudes. So it's a large, they're pretty violent, they rowdy, they with the shits, right? So they end up basically like kidnapping Guuci Mane. So what ends up happening is that they end up kidnapping him, and basically what was supposed to happen is basically how the record said they were just gonna take the chain and go get the money. But what ends up happening is that this dude Pookie Loke was just like, well, you know what, let's just kill him.
Oh wow.
So when this happens, a fight broke out, right? And basically somehow I guess Gucci must have got the best of this guy, because they were in a house and he ended up getting away and hitting the front door, right? So as he's running, this dude came after him or whatever. And basically what happened is that Guuci Mane he blind fired backwards into a door like 5 times, and apparently the guy died, like from that fatal wounds, killed the guy. And from that, he ended up having to go to jail, and he had to fight a murder case. So at the beginning of his career, as soon as he got this album out, he basically went straight to jail. So
that's crazy.
From there, he had to beat the murder case. He got off on that for self-defense, and I mean, pretty much from there, like that's never. It's been pretty much like, hey, I hate this guy, and that's just what it is. And it's never gonna change,
beef, bro. Like this ain't no legit beef. Like for real. To even see them up there together, like, bro, man, that was crazy.
It was insane. What happened? I honestly didn't think they were gonna show. When they were showing up late, I was like, these niggas ain't gonna show. They're not gonna show. So that was crazy.
Took that long to park all the cars, bro. Like they came deep.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of firearms in that building. Like I was very, very terrified. I was like, yeah, someone is not gonna leave Magic City tonight. Like it was really, really ugly. There's a lot of money in that room, though.
Well, I'm glad nothing bad happened. I did get to watch a tiny bit of it, but I'm glad nothing bad happened, because we already got, hip hop already has this bad connotation to it, and right now with all the political stuff going on in this atmosphere, that would have been the last thing we would have we needed. It was two of the biggest artists in hip hop right now doing something stupid, especially after this recent string of murders in the hip hop community.
Yep. Oh.
So
yeah. So I feel you. I appreciate the recap, fellas. We're gonna move into the NBA. Yeah, y'all know. Basically, we're starting the season off in a couple weeks. So about 3 weeks, new season's getting ready to start. Y'all been keeping up with free agency and everything that's been going on. How y'all feeling about everything that's going on right now?
Me being that I lived in the Bay, I feel bad for Clay. I feel bad for him, even though I do feel like the Warriors did make a good choice with picking up I don't know how to pronounce the dude's name.
Oubre.
Yeah, Oubre. What's his last name? How you pronounce his last name?
Kelly Oubre. He's a fellow New Orleanian, unfortunately.
Jay, just stop.
I think that was a good. I think that was a good pickup, man. I think besides that I saw was interesting, man. Bruh, whatever's going on with the Rockets, dog. this whole Harden debacle was ridiculous. Like I don't understand this man's logic. Like I get it, but it's kind of just like what? None of this makes sense. None of that makes sense. But I mean, it is what it is. I think a better question I look at with all these drafts is, or another question I'm gonna throw out there on the table. Y'all think the Lakers will win again, bro?
I mean, let's just go ahead and get the elephant out the room, bro. Hey, check this out, man. That's the whole thing, bro. That's the whole thing, and it's like I honestly, man, this year, first of all, I wonder how they gonna do this year. Like, are they gonna come back with a bubble for the whole year? Like that, I'm wondering how they do that, because that actually has an impact on how the season goes. Some people are just hoopers, bro, and we got to see that in the bubble last year. Hoopers don't need a crowd; they hoop. But that's I'm not gonna judge the season until I know how it's gonna be played, because that changes my view. But
I feel like that makes it harder.
Here's the thing, though. Marvin just said is correct, because sometimes hoopers can get the jitters, bro, from playing in front of all them people.
Facts.
So,
that momentum thing is real.
right.
Yeah.
In the bubble, you was playing in front of
No. I think so. Like that's the whole point, right? So, all right. So when I say hoopers, that's more so like a gym thing. Like we in the gym and we just straight hooping. But that the lights, like with crowd, that's a whole different story. Perfect case for that.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray, bro. Jamal Murray, like he had his moments. He can ball. Don't get me wrong. He can ball. But he averaged 17 points a game before the bubble. You know what I'm saying? Not to take anything away from him, but he just wasn't that dude under the lights. So that is 100% valid.
So the distractions are clearly not there, and so and the audience does play a factor, and this bubble did
good
prove
and
that.
Bad.
You know, yeah, good and bad.
Even from the calls, like
that too.
It's a complete different focus, man. So I kind of sit back and I debate about this, right? So LeBron people are now making this speech like, okay, is he going to be on track to tie Jordan so far as NBA titles, right? So like he's kind of, people think like he's kind of in the running, but everyone wants to mention that they're going to put an asterisk by the bubble ring, which I get it because the season didn't start in the bubble, right? But if we do this second season, I got high like probability that it's going to be the bubble again.
I don't think so.
How though? We got spiked COVID. How are they going to manage it?
But I think they're going to do something similar to how they're doing with the NFL, where they're allowing some fans to actually come into the arena. And there's already talks about having NBA fans come back to the arenas now. Like even with the recent news, like for example, Canada is on strict lockdown with their stuff. The Toronto Raptors won't be playing their season in Toronto. They're going to be doing all their training camp, and they will be playing from Florida. So it is understood that these teams are going to be trying to return back to the arenas, and they have to, because they got to recoup that money, man. So TV deals. You got TV deals on the line. You got physical ticket sales. They lost a lot of money. It has to go back to the arenas. Now, all these contracts, like we've seen all these big contracts, especially with these players, these big time, these younger players, like Brandon Ingram getting that $153 million deal for 5 years. That money got to be recouped.
Yep.
It got to be recouped, bro. That's the fact of the matter. That is the fact of the matter. It has to be recouped. In the bubble, it's not going to do it. They lost so much money with that bubble, so much money. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but like I said, I think they're going to take pointers from like what the NFL is doing. You go, now you're seeing, when you're watching some of these NFL games, you actually see fans in the arena. They're just distance out. So I think we're going to see something similar.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what you're saying, Jay. Is what they've already said is going to happen. I think they can do like 15 to 20% capacity in all of the arenas. But like you said, they got to recoup that money somewhere. So they're going to have to go back to the arenas. But on the point of what Marv was saying with the whole LeBron and the rings thing, I mean, it's looking like it's set up for them to get another one. I mean, you know how LeBron does. Whenever he goes to a city, he gets the biggest names to play with him, number one. Then number two, he gets all of the guys who are not all stars, but are somewhat pretty good, that are like in their 6th or 7th year, to somehow take mid-level exceptions and minimum money. So he's doing that again, like he did in Cleveland and like he did in Miami. And he's getting everybody on his team. So basically, we just need James Harden to go from Voltron in New Jersey, and that's all we need. If you see on your phone James Harden has been traded to New Jersey, you don't need to ask any more questions. They're going to win the ship if KD and Kyrie stay healthy. That's a done deal.
Man, I don't.
How though? I don't think it will.
I don't like trying to have an overwhelming advantage. Like, you already got probably the best player in the league in AD. Like, you already have him. like you're going like I just, bro. You want to be the favorite every time, and you like that's the only time you win is when you're heavily favorite. Any other time, like I just don't respect that, man. I don't respect the whole game, not just Bron, because it ain't just him, but I'm indifferent because I do like the fact that players get their power back. They doing these 1-on-1 deals, and the owners are not in position of power as much as they were. I do like that fact. But I can't stand that all these MFs is teaming up with each other and not battling each other, man. Like,
right. And me and Cam talked about that, off the mic a day or two ago about that, and we brought up the idea that a lot of these young players, since they have so much control. They're not in that mindset to sit there and build a team like back in the 90s, in the 80s, build a team with the players that they have and learn to play together. It's really a win now or I'm gone, and or you have that other mindset where, hey, I think I'm the better leader. We saw that with Kyrie, where Kyrie didn't want to play with LeBron anymore. He wanted to go do his own thing and felt like he could win a championship. We saw that with KD when KD left, OKC and joined the Warriors, and he got his 2 championships and dipped. Now he's trying to do his own thing over in Brooklyn. It sucks. And then we got the rumors that, the Lakers are trying to pursue Giannis now. And I said myself, I'm the biggest LeBron fan y'all know. I don't approve that. First of all, I love parity. I'm okay with duos. I'm fine with duos. I'm fine with having 2 big players on the team. But the having all these megastars teaming up, I don't approve of that. When Kawhi made that decision to get Paul George, to tell the Clippers organization, Clippers management, hey, go out and get Paul George and I'm coming, and they went and did that, I was so happy that he did not, because I did not want to see a team where you have LeBron, Kawhi, and AD on the team. I don't want to see that. That's I don't want to see that. I'm for parity in the league. I'm for parity. So
yeah, 100.
I don't want to see just like he said, like Cam said, I don't want to see a team just overly dominating. I was a big fan with Miami, and we had the big 3 over there, but right. I never thought, even though I knew Chris Bosh was good, I knew D Wade was good, I just never assumed from the get-go, probably because I never really followed Chris Bosh like that, and I didn't really follow D Wade like that. I just didn't really see them being that dominant till we actually started being that dominant. So it was a different aspect for me, but I just don't want to see the league turn into that, because I do want to see big time players playing small markets. You know what I'm saying? I want to see these small markets have good teams. Like New Orleans, we got a very great team this year. I want to see stuff like that, So,
but see,
it just sucks.
That's the thing, though. Like when people say, when they say LeBron started it, like you may not have known, Jay, like because everybody didn't watch basketball the same, back then as some of us. But I think Cam can attest to it too. Like we both watched basketball pretty much our whole lives. Like D Wade was already a top 5 player in the NBA at that point. So was LeBron. And Bosh may have not been top 5, but he was top 8.
He was top 10. He was top 10.
He was definitely top 10. Right. So you have a team to where, yes, 2 of them weren't together, and then LeBron went and joined them. But this had been in the works for literally 4 or 5 years before this happened. They all planned to make sure that their contracts were going to end at the same time so they could join the team at the same time. 3 top players on the same team really had never been done before. I mean, people always want to go say, oh, well, the Celtics did it first. None of them were in their prime. Like, hey, bro, none of them were in their prime. So you got an old KG, you got an old Paul Pierce, and you got a Ray Allen that's pretty much not on the way out, but close to it. I mean, they were trying to get together to do what they could do, and they got that championship, which, applauds them because that was a real team. But LeBron took this to a whole nother level. And honestly, I think that's where it started. And so they've gone away from the big 3 thing now to the big 2. But his new method now is, okay, well, I can't get the big 3, or we're not gonna have a big 3, but I'm gonna get all the 6 mans around the league to come join my team now. So now I'm gonna get all the second best players to come join me and the other best player in the league. So
but here's a question to that though.
Go ahead.
Who do you blame for that? Do you necessarily blame LeBron for trying to build like a deep team, or do you blame the players for actually like trying to play with LeBron?
I blame the money.
Like Montrezl Harrell.
I blame the money.
I blame the players.
I blame the money because the money is what allows these lower grade players to be able to do that. You couldn't do that back in the day because if you wanted to take a lower role, like the money wasn't there. Like on the superstars got paid. Now role players are getting paid $100 million. So it's I think it's just evolution, bro. I'm always gonna say I want to put it on the players, but man, it's kind of hard to put it on the players when they created this. You know what I'm saying? They gave them the opportunity to do that. So
right.
That was hard. So I'll just say the money.
The reason I say the players is like Montrezl Harrell, like Jay said, was a perfect example. But I say I blame the players because I guess there's no such thing as loyalty when there's money involved because you're going to go to whoever's going to give you the most money. It's not like it was back in the day where you were loyal to a city, you were loyal to your teammates, whatever it is. I just thought that was ultimate disrespect Montrezl Harrell did the other day. Like, I get it. They may not have wanted to pay you like max or even like close to max money or whatever. But you really gonna go take the mid-level exception to join the team that literally plays in the same building as you, that you were going up against last year, and they were saying that y'all were the favorites. You didn't get it done. This kind of sounds like what Jay always talks about with Kevin Durant leaving and going to Golden State, except Montrezl Harrell is nowhere on that stratosphere of a player at all. But you honestly left the Clippers and went to the Lakers. Like, that's ultimate disloyalty if I've ever seen it. And so I blame the players because he got a deal that was very similar to that and stayed with the Clippers. And I don't know if the whole thing about Kawhi and Paul George and that whole treatment situation was that big of an issue, but that was just disrespect, bro. And they make the decisions at the end of the day. So I blame the players.
I actually gave this a little bit of thought just now, bro. And if I had to look at anything, and this is not a shot at you at all, Jay, but I actually would blame. No, seriously, I would actually blame LeBron. And here's why, bro. Because players used to get better. You know what I'm saying? Players would get to a team and they would become great. And it's two things with LeBron. Number one, all of a sudden, everyone wanted you to be ready now. You know what I'm saying? Like when LeBron came in the league, they expected him to be great right away. And it's almost kind of like how they expect out of the good players coming into the league. Like if you're not great right now, then you ain't. I'm sorry. If you ain't great right now, you ain't that dude. And it discourages a lot of these new age players. That's one aspect. But the other one is Bron started this 1+1. Which gave it a win now mentality. So a lot of players, it's like, you know what? If we don't win this year, we ain't nothing. And players don't have that longevity to develop something. It's all got to be, oh, well, I got to go join him so we can win right now. We got to team up so we can win right now, not become better or develop talent. So I actually do blame LeBron for that, man. And I think that's a valid thing coming from what he brought to the table.
That's a valid point because, like you said, if LeBron's always joining up with the top 5, top 3, top 10 best players in the league, other players are like, you know what? We got to go join these people just to beat him.
Just to have a chance.
Beat him just to have a chance. So, like, don't get me wrong. Like, there are points to Jay's argument about KD being a snake and leaving and going to Golden State that I actually do agree with, if I'm gonna be honest. But at the end of the day, a horrible move. Right. Like the optics on that, if you look at it, terrible move. But at the end of the day, while I was like, you know what? Go ahead and do it. Because you already know LeBron going to do what he got to do to get people to come to his team. It don't matter where he's playing, in Miami, Cleveland, LA, wherever. He's going to do what he has to do to get players. So if you feel that your best option is to join superstars to beat him, and because if you feel like, he's just going to run away with all the titles if y'all don't do that, then you got to do what you got to do. Because honestly, if KD didn't go to that Warriors team, would they have beat the Cavs those 2 years?
Bro, I actually I wanna take some credit away from the Warriors because people hype that 73-9 team up just a little too much. Not to say that they're not a great team, but if you actually watch the regular season, there was not basketball played the regular season. I think before KD came, with the Cavs had a healthy team, that's a really good matchup. The Warriors were not dominant. Like 70, they got 73-9 because people didn't take the regular season serious. That's why they got that. It wasn't because they were just such a dominant team. Hence the reason why they didn't even win the ship that year. So I like people hype that up like, oh, come on, bring it down to reality. Like they wasn't that dominant team that everybody making them to be. Not till KD got there.
Right. I will say this though. I agree with everything you just said, Cam, but there's one caveat to that. And Jay knows where I'm going with it.
Draymond.
And I'm gonna quote my boy today on this because he said it perfectly, and what he said was 100% correct. The Warriors were set up to win that series. They had two things that happened. They had number one, the stimulus Draymond Green package, where LeBron tripped with Draymond. Draymond raised his leg and tried to say, "Oh, he hit me in the nuts," et cetera, et cetera. Thrown out, got that check. He's out the next game. They didn't even lose that next game by more than 8 points. Out for the series, and Andre got it. So it's a lot closer than we wanted 4 and 6. But
I'll say this though. I will say this: if I just want to be all the way honest with y'all, I always thought sports was kind of fixed in a way. Like some of the storylines that happen, it just like can't when I watch the games, I don't just look to see who making a bucket. I look at everything. For instance, the reason why I don't like that series where they lost, they came back and won that down 3-1. Even in game 7, it just didn't seem like Steph was trying to win. I don't care what you call it, bro. You got K Love on you. There is no way Kevin Love can hold Steph Curry. And that the shot selection that you chose is not even a Steph shot. Like that's what everything was out of character. And you can go, game 7, big lights, bro. Man, I don't believe all that. Not on some players, bro. Not with Steph. So I just think sports is fixed sometimes. And I think it's all of storyline, it's all the narrative. It all had to happen. It fit, bro. It just fit. So
and you also, Cam, the play before that, Steph came down, threw the ball behind his back, out of bounds. So when Clay was wide open for the 3, he just threw it out of bounds behind his back. So yeah, I can see. I see where you're going with it.
I mean, I feel you. I feel almost the same way with the Dallas Miami.
with the Mavericks. No, real talk. No.
Because there is we all agree. We all agree. There's no reason Dallas should have a title. So.
No reason. None. Zero.
No, I agree 100% with you, Jade. The same thing, bro. Like that's the problem I have. It's like, Bron, I know you didn't play into this narrative, bro. Like, I don't think you couldn't have played into this narrative, but when you look at it, it's like, what are you doing? You're not trying to win.
And exactly. Which is why my criticism on his defense is, and it's funny that you bring up like whether this stuff is rigged or not, because I was thinking, I was having those feelings when I would watch these Cavs games against the last 2 finals against the Warriors, and LeBron wasn't playing defense. And I know we had a very deep talk about defense, but I'm like, dude, it doesn't even seem like you're trying. And you know what I'm saying? And I just, and I start to think like, did he make a deal with Adam Silver? Hey, look, let you lose now, but when you join the Lakers, we're gonna give you 3 championships. All right, cool. I'll just take the loss. I don't know.
Think about this though. Just think about this for 1 second. If the Lakers three-peat, just think about this. It's only been 2 teams to three-peat. It's only been 2 teams. If the Lakers three-peat, and think about the three-peats, bro, you got nothing but greats. Jordan and Kobe are the only 2 out there that have three-peated. If Braun three-peat, bro, it's a part of the narrative. You said who?
Didn't Bill Russell three-peat?
No,
I think.
That's. We only count stats from the modern era. We like no, seriously, they don't count stats from back then. Like real serious, they don't. So it was only like 6 teams. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Okay, so it was 3 players.
I will say this though, y'all. Back on LeBron, back on the LeBron thing though. It does look like on paper, and I already told y'all this too. I said I was content with 4 rings. Y'all heard that. That's on paper. I said I was content with 4 rings. I don't expect a 5th. I don't expect the 6th championship. I don't really expect that. So that's why I said I'm actually excited because I'm curious how all this is going to work out with the return of Kevin Durant. So I'm really, from this point on, I'm actually just watching just to watch. Like I really want to see what happens.
The thing is, Cam, Jay, the thing is, bro, it all depends on health at this point. Right. Because for the last, I don't know what it seems like, the last couple of years, it's just like, and I know how you feel about this, but I'm just going to say it because it's got to be said. He's getting these easy paths to the finals and these wins, bro. He's not playing these top guys because all these guys are getting hurt. Yes, he plays James Harden in Houston, but no one takes Houston seriously, bro. James Harden ain't done nothing in Houston, so I'd never take Houston seriously. And the Warriors didn't even make the playoffs this year. Their whole team was hurt. Like, ran through the West. And yes, I know Jamal Murray and them was playing good and all that stuff like that. But KD, Kyrie not playing. Playing a handicap Miami team who lost 2 of their starters, and Jimmy Butler having to play 47 or 48 minutes a night just for them to stay in the series. Like, I want him, if LeBron is going to make it back to the finals, he needs to go up against a juggernaut. He needs to go up against like a Giannis-led team. He needs to go up against a Kevin Durant, New Jersey team. Like, he has to play talent. And if he beats the talent, so be it. But I'm tired of him just playing these teams where these dudes that aren't playing or these guys are hurt or somebody. Just like the Clippers. I know you about to bring the Clippers up, so hold on, let me get to them. Or someone like the Clippers with a forward who just acts like he don't know what basketball is in the playoffs and just loses the series for him. Like, I want to see him play up against talent. So that's my only thing. And if he beats the talent, then he beats the talent. That it is what it is.
But my rebuttal to that, though, I feel you and I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. That is not LeBron James' problem, though. These other players need to be ready. LeBron cannot help them and carry them on their team. They gotta play. They gotta make it. They gotta face LeBron, like Stephen A. Smith did. Why LeBron's waiting for you? That is not LeBron's fault that Kawhi lost and the Clippers lost. That is not LeBron's fault that Kyrie and KD got injured or whatever. Whoever. That is not LeBron that Giannis got his ass whooped at Miami. That is not LeBron's fault. You want to see these? His competition has to stand up, and they got to fight and compete. That is not LeBron's fault. If LeBron, you cannot get, no matter how. I know we want to see LeBron fight, face the best of the best for legacy and specifically for me for legacy reasons. And I know y'all, huh? Yeah, exactly. They have to get there, but you can't put that on LeBron. If LeBron gets to the mountain and he's looking for the competition to come. You know what I'm saying? That's not a LeBron problem. Giannis
it's not a
fucking ball out. Excuse me, sorry.
No,
go ahead.
Hey, bro. Hey, check this out. Hey, record this. I'm calling it right now. This is already scripted. LeBron will three-peat. He will become the 4th person to three-peat. On his way to three-peating, he will win 6 rings. On his way to winning 6 rings, then now he will be legitimately considered the GOAT by many. Bro, and I'm calling it now because I do think Jordan is losing some of his mystique as the GOAT. Real hoopers will recognize him as the GOAT, but he's been away from the game so long. They did this, like Jordan was in this position. They did this for Jordan as well. So I'm seeing this, bro, and I'm like, yo, I'm just calling it right now. Three-peat on the way to 6, and that's how he becomes the universal GOAT. And that's what the NBA is going to carry on because after him, they don't have nobody that's ready to take the mantle right now. So it's going to go back to recognizing teams.
And that's what's pitiful.
because you're not looking at the 7 times he lost in the finals. Exactly. You're not looking at the times he got guarded by 5'4" people on the court. You're not looking at the times where just like you have to look at the totality of the entire picture. And you can't just look at he got 6 longevity repeated. Like, look at the whole thing objectively. Like Marvin, like, look at it, bro. What Jordan did hasn't been done and won't be done again. Period. Like, not to say that there's nobody that can come in the league and go 6 for 6 or 7 for 7 or something like that. It won't be done. Bro, it won't. He lost the 6 finals that he's lost, bro. He's already out, man. There is no like, oh, let's see what he can do. If he goes 30 times, can he get 6? Bro, you're done. What you did in that Dallas series, you're done. I don't care if he wins, like Cam said the other day. I don't care if he wins 8. Bro, it doesn't matter, bro. You lost more than you won. So that's it for me. Like, there is no greatest conversation. I don't care if he goes in a 3-piece the next 2 ships or whatever. It's already over for me. So what LeBron gets now is just icing on the cake for him to go to bed at night and feel great about himself. We already know what the deal is, period. So we're going to try to bring it back to gaming now. As we all know, we are literally less than 15 days away from the release of Cyberpunk. We've been talking about this on our last couple shows. Final previews came out this week. 3 new episodes showing off gameplay and talking about just the different things that are happening in the Cyberpunk world. How are y'all feeling? Do you think it's going to stay December 10th? And what stood out to you in some of these videos that were released recently?
Number one, I think it will keep the December 10th because I have any additional information that's going to, that has given me that. I'm praying that it's December 10th. But number 2, from the game previews and the footage that we've been getting over the past couple of days, I am liking what I'm seeing. I like the fact that it has a GTA style in it, because I was scared if we could only use our personal vehicle, like the vehicle that we get in the game for the story. Looks like you can, GTA and steal other people's vehicles.
Marv, what do you think, bro?
I think Jay covered a lot of the points that I was going to cover. I personally think the game's ready. Just from what I've seen, man, it's polished. I think the biggest thing that they had to deal with was optimization. I think them pushing this back was exactly because of what they said. So I'm just going to stick with what the developer said on the release date. And I mean, I hope all is well. I know just from also in previews, there's a few bugs, but I feel like that comes with any game. Any gamer who believes any next gen title is going to come out bugless is ridiculous, like bugging. You spazzing out. So it's going to roll out. It's going to have a day 1 patch, and that's just what it is. So far as gameplay goes, though, I think from what I've seen, I think it's phenomenal. I think I was really impressed by the customer. Why am I up here fumbling over my words? The character customization. I was really impressed by that. That was like a big thing that I think was like a huge takeaway, because I mean, some of the features on there I just didn't. I was just like, dang, they really went into like intricate details about those specific things. Another thing too, that was a takeaway just from what I've seen on YouTube and kind of digging into, these video releases, is that like this is going to be a very long game, which I appreciate, right? So yeah, I think like one developer or one guy who's been playtesting this was like clocked at like 100+ hours and didn't even make a dent in the game. Like it was a ridiculous number of just playthrough time, right?
Wasn't like side missions? I think that's what it was, and not the story.
Yeah, like the side missions alone, outside of the story, the side missions alone, it like added some crazy amount of gameplay time on that. So that really excites me, because my thing is that we're not going to know anything about multiplayer and probably any additional DLC for a while now, you know what I'm saying, in order to be able to complement the game, because you already know how it goes. As soon as the game drops, you can have all the mainstream streamers and people trying to create content and to rush it out to YouTube so people could just watch the game in a couple of hours. But like, okay, well, outside of that, what are people gonna, be starved to get their hands on and do and play? So right. I think it's really dope. The concept of playing all 3, storylines with different characters, different experiences, things play around, and the experiences with that is also very, very enticing. So I mean, overall, I got high hopes for Cyberpunk. I think it is going to be game of the year, personally. with all of this, I don't think it's a game that's gonna be super hyped. I also think yes, it's gonna sell well and do well, but I also think, in my opinion, just my theory, it's not gonna be one of those games that's gonna be like super overhyped outside of the gamer space like Grand Theft Auto eventually became. I remember there was a point in time where like Grand Theft Auto was still a gamer's game.
Yeah.
And then eventually like it became this big cultural phenom where if it drops, like everyone plays Grand Theft Auto, like people's moms, dads, and like grandmothers know what Grand Theft Auto is, versus like Cyberpunk, only like a small, like only a certain demographic is gonna fool with this game, know what it is, and play it out the way that it's supposed to be. And I respect that a lot. I think the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is seeing how weapons handle in this game, because there's a multitude of them, but I haven't been able to see just too much of just like, oh, this is how this gun interacts with enemies and how it, you can use it in certain scenarios, almost to like kind of a level of what they do with Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty is like one of the few games where they like deep dive and get really nerdy about weapons and how they perform. Versus Cyberpunk, if it's as complex as what it is, I'm intrigued to see if that's going to occur with that amount of detail, breaking down weapons and things of that nature as well.
Gotcha. I had two big takeaways. One to kind of go off your point, Marv. I'll go on that one first. I don't think that it will be as big as GTA in the first year, but I think if multiplayer comes out and it's any type of sandbox environment like GTA is, in the beautiful city that Night City looks like it is right now, it could possibly draw out for 4, 5, 6 years, kind of like GTA did. So it just depends on how in depth they're trying to go with multiplayer. Is it going to be on the same path as GTA, where like, you're buying apartments, you're buying cars, you're doing these missions and heists and all that kind of stuff like that? Because I think some of those elements are in Cyberpunk, the main storyline right now. So if they can expand upon that and kind of bring those elements into it, it could eventually get to that point, because the DLC alone will be pretty substantial. Because if it's like The Witcher 3's and they said that the DLC is longer than The Witcher 3's DLC, the game might be around for about 5 or 6 years, probably. But we'll see. I have high hopes for it, so we'll see eventually how that is. Second point for me, this one is definitely for Cam right here, because I know how Cam is with the games and the dialogue and the shooting and all that. So listening to multiple people talk about it that have played it, they have said that it took them 6 hours just to get to the title screen. And they said within that 6 hours, there was only a couple of gunfights. So the game is heavy on dialogue. And they said it's definitely an RPG. It's not a first-person shooter first. So I just stressing that. I know Cam was talking about how how the gameplay and the first-person mechanics and all that kind of stuff were. So it's definitely stressed as an RPG over a first-person shooter. They said that. Now, when the game starts, you get more into the shooting and stealth elements and all that. But at first, it's definitely RPG backed. So I'm interested because I like RPGs. We'll see.
Right. Same with me. Yeah, I can see how that can turn some people off. But in a lot of RPGs now, you're seeing a lot of them have those. When you start the game, where it's like, do you want to have a more driven game, or do you want to have more action in the back, or do you want to just have straight up action? But if I'm expecting something like The Witcher, us, like, me and you are big Witcher fans, EJ. So if we're expecting The Witcher, which CD Projekt Red is known for, I'm not gonna have an issue with it, especially if the story is good.
Right. Yeah. You ready for it, Cam?
Man, if it's slow, I'll play it. I'll still play it. I just probably won't play it as much at one setting if it's slow. You know what I'm saying? I probably have to do an hour at a time or something like that.
Gotcha. I feel you.
But I'm ready to see. It can't be too bad, man. It can't be too bad. Like in GTA, if you actually do the story mode, which I did in GTA, everything ain't all fast in there either. So it can't be too bad.
Then at the end of the day, What other games you gonna be playing?
2K.
How that's going right now?
I mean, 2K, Call of Duty, racing games.
We ain't about to get in the COD, bro.
Motorcycle racing, F1 racing, any racing games.
Cam is the one single-handedly surviving. He's single-handedly propping up Forza and all them other games like that, because I haven't touched a racing game since Project Gotham. So,
bruh, I haven't touched a racing game since PlayStation 2.
Oh man,
I would play. I like racing games, but I would play a lot more if y'all played them. I know Cam would play, but if EJ and Greg and Marvin, y'all join getting the games, I would play a lot more. Because trust me, I love games. So
I'm gonna be real with you, bro. That's just gonna be a you and Cam thing, bro. It's really repetitive to me. I can't do that over and over again. Like I did that on Project Gotham on the original Xbox. Like I played that for like a year, bro, and I just got burnt. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I literally have not played no Forza after that. I haven't played any of those type of games after that. So
right,
I just can't do it.
Gotcha.
I will say this: those games always do have the best graphics. Amazing.
Oh, and Halo.
Hey, we ain't seen Halo in a minute.
Hey, bro. Hey, when Halo do come out on next gen, bro, it's gonna be something.
They better come with. Yeah. Like,
we'll see, man. They always set us up and undeliver, bro. I haven't been impressed in Halo in a while, bro.
Well, they always set us up. They didn't deliver this last time. Me and Jay talked about
disappointing, bro. Like super disappointing.
Campaign was terrible, man.
Yeah,
terrible. Story was garbage.
Yes, the story was garbage, but the multiplayer is
it got boring super fast though. And I played that game religiously, like.
Yeah, Marvin played more than I did.
Yes, I was on it heavy, super heavy, and it was mad boring. Like after a while, I was like, dude, the leveling system was ridiculous. Like even if you tried to diversify and play different game modes to level up faster, it was still like a pain. It was like literally you had to force yourself to go through so much pain to get very little reward.
He said so much.
It was not nice.
I don't know. I had a different experience.
I had to go through like 35 games of completely slaying people before I got a helmet.
Oh,
you know what, bro? I have to agree. I think I stopped playing it too because like I'm like, at what point do I get these rewards? Like I'm up here leveling my character, I'm level 50, and I have nothing. Like so, I
great killing, bro.
I do feel you.
I think I do agree with you. It did take a little long.
It was a little excessive.
Armor. It was a little excessive, but I like the PvE stuff. You know, the multiplayer where we actually all of the players had to work together and actually kill a covenant on the maps and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty new for the series, so it wasn't. So they put a new aspect to it instead of it just being PvP, and that's just each other. So I thought that was pretty cool. I will say the campaign wasn't that great, and everybody that I know in my circle wasn't playing it. I didn't stop playing because the game was it was trash completely. The campaign was trash, but I did have some fun with the multi.
Got it.
So,
gotcha.
But they are supposed to be releasing a new update. It was released the 17th. They're supposed to be doing some new stuff on there, so I got to check.
Before we get out of here, last thing, I know we're heading into Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Have y'all been keeping up with any deals that's going on this Friday? Any Black Friday deals are actually starting tonight? Really?
They're starting like hella early. To be honest, no. Y'all already know what I'm going after. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know how disappointed I am about this.
Yeah.
I just saw something I was about to send to the chat that I literally just saw on Twitter, man. A cat won a PlayStation 5 through Walmart. He beat the system and got one, right? And he posted a tweet to Walmart showing his order number and everything, saying, thank you, Walmart, for getting through. And then somebody retweeted and said, hey, man, I went ahead and canceled that order, man, so the robbers won't get you, bro. You're welcome. And put that emoji. Wow. Somebody went in and canceled his order. And somebody replied and said, somebody said this guy wakes up and chooses violence every day.
That is messed up, man. That is messed up.
Like, oh man, I said that's like an instant fight. Like that's not even
Hey man, moving silent, man. Moving silent. You gotta be posting your receipt and everything. You know, that's you doing that stuff for cloud and you get yourself messed over and you have
Got built, man.
Yeah, I see you, Jay. I see you quote Wayne J. I see you. I did I did see a deal I told Jay about before we were recording. Anybody who's Cam might like it. Cam is a fan of the Fast and the Furious series. All 8 movies on sale for $64.99, I think, 4K Blu-ray. So if y'all interested in the racing games and racing movies, so y'all can go out and get that.
I'm not really. I don't think I'm really purchasing anything for Black Friday or Cyber Monday. I am moving. I know Mars.
Me too.
Yeah, EJ's moving. Everybody's moving.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get all that. It's not the great. So just focusing on getting Cyberpunk. Yeah, we're gonna focus on the stuff that we got. But I'm not looking into no new TVs till next year. Because I do. I am going to be looking for a new TV soon because Dorian, she wants another flash screen. So I'm gonna be looking. So like I said, I'm gonna drop her this old one. She don't need the new one. So I'll be getting the new one.
That's the move.
So yeah. So
I just got a new TV. So
all right, fellas. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it for the news. Like I said, wasn't a whole lot of news this week, but we did a pretty good job of getting through everything. So yeah.
Indeed. I'll take us out, man. That wraps up another episode of the SHU Program. Thank y'all for coming out and listening to us, man, showing us love and support. If you like, please share this with your friends on all your social media networks. Follow us across all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube especially. Please like and subscribe, man, and come back next week for another episode. Thank y'all so much, man. One love.
Peace.